And if we have time, I would like to help with the merge.
Yeah, I was wondering if we wanted to take a minute to, like, were there specific things like you have conflicts that you want to know?
I was trying to do the merge right now, and then I just realized it's just like, honestly, I'm scared to go back in GitHub. I just thought maybe you guys could help me. But so what I just realized, I just did the normal merge, and then I'm like, oh, we have two different map components, right? We have the map component that we created for the view, and then we have y'all's map component. And so I need to combine them, which is fine. I just don't know how to get out of the screen right now because it just has the two files that are conflict. Does that make sense? And then the other question is, if I move the stuff, I can just share my screen and explain.
Yeah, why don't you share your screen?
I'm not very articulate right now. I feel like it's been an exhausting week. I'm like, this thing, someone help me.
So one thing, I'm imagining what you're saying, like, are the two files?
Yeah, so it comes up right here and it shows me that there's two conflicting files. So I accepted this, and then I'm just at the app and I realize we have map from pages, map from components. So I want to combine them, but I'm not sure how to get back to all our code base. So that's one thing, right? And then the other is, do we still keep the location in Zoom and then just put it in the new map component, or do we move location in Zoom to the map component? Does this make sense?
It totally makes sense.
At a high level, what I was
trying to... there's a decision that the team needs to make, which is, do you want your stuff to live at, /pages or /components? And sometimes people do /pages for things that are high level views, and then /components for things that are sort of composed into a page, if that makes sense. But this isn't going to be that complicated of an app, so I would suggest keeping everything in one directory. So you just need to choose somehow pages or components.
Right. And then I guess the other thing is, how do I get back to the screen where I can like manipulate?
Oh, right. Okay, well, we'll figure that out in a second. Let's make that decision though. Somehow.
Yeah, I mean, it's semantic. So I think you guys have more stuff in pages, right? Like you have a bunch of different pages views are in there already.
Yeah, we put all the views. We also made a components folder for the nav.
We did.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Oh, that's why.
I think it makes sense to have both. But maybe map should be in pages.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm fine with that. Does anybody have an objection to that?
No, I think it's fine.
Do you think we should still have these like variables in the app? And then
my suggestion for that is that those should be encapsulated within the map component.
Within the map component.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how we do that within the GitHub UI, I'm not super clear on. I've never actually used the GitHub UI for resolving conflicts. I do it from the command line. So if somebody's familiar with that, maybe they can help guide.
The GUI is arcane knowledge to me. I was going to say that I only work in VS Code because they do really good diff resolution for when there's conflicts.
Okay, well, I can get my VS Code. I guess I just was doing it there. I can also go back, I think, right?
Yeah, none of this is committed, so probably.
Yeah, you could just abandon this. It would probably be fine.
Yeah, it looks like I did just abandon it. Okay, so then if I go into my terminal, would I just like, I usually do it on the UI. I don't do it from my terminal. So this helps for me too.
Yeah, the other team stuff is on main, is that right?
Right, yeah.
Okay, so you can switch back to main, make sure you pull, and so you have the latest stuff.
I should check out main.
Yep.
Okay.
Isn't there a way to also rebase that I always kind of forget the exact command?
Yeah. So that's where I would start. And that doesn't always, like, I think in this case it still might fail, but it would get us past some other stuff. So
now
do that.
Main.
So now, switch back to your branch.
Okay. I forgot what my branch is called. Sorry. I also, because I was out of town, I haven't been on a computer in a little bit. So and then I sometimes talk in a weird British accent, and that's what I was just doing when I'm nervous.
Are you from there originally? Is that why?
No. This is like,
were you like a theater major or something?
Not at all. Honestly, my partner, and they have a partner of like 10 years. They always speak in British accents together. So does someone else who lives in the house. And it took me actually 8 months. I've been with them for almost like almost 2 years, but I was so scared to speak in one. But we all just speak in British accents all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just perfect.
I'm actually realizing too. Oh, I guess some of you met EJ on office hours, and then I think Al, you said hello, but like I just kind of I'm forgetting that EJ and Al, you weren't on last week's sync. So do we need to do any kind of other introductions or hellos or anything?
I'm happy to wait until we get this problem resolved so that we're not, switching tracks too much.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All
Hi,
right,
everyone.
So here, what I would do is, well, I guess, shoot, yeah, there might be some rebase command here. Normally, like where I was going is like git pull -- rebase, but that's for pulling other people's changes on the same branch. So,
Okay.
is there some fancy command here, like a way to rebase here?
I don't know. Is it just git merge develop now that you've caught up with develop?
With main, you mean? So git merge
Yeah.
main is yeah. It's,
So git merge main, and then it will tell me all the conflicts from there.
yeah. And then here, the sort of like, there are ways to resolve these things, like, accept and all that kind of stuff. The little kind of secret of this is it's just text files, right? So
Okay.
you could literally just take all that stuff out of, the one component and just paste it into the other one, get rid
Really
of all
quick,
the,
just to kind of show the UI I was talking about, you can see that VS Code here highlights the diffs that come from each branch, and you can choose which one you want to keep by clicking on the accept links on the top of the diff.
Oh wow. Wait, where's the accept link?
The plain text above the green, do you see that?
Oh, it's
Current change
change.
accept.
Oh wow,
yeah.
wow. Compare. Wow, that's great.
and not very obvious.
Yeah, it's not.
But accept incoming change is going to keep all the CSS there.
Okay, so we want to accept incoming change.
Incoming, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Boom.
And then
Make sure you save the file as well with Command S.
yes, sorry.
Yep, I forget all the time. That's why I'm vigilant about it.
Okay, and so then here is where we're gonna have to like change this a bit, right? So we were saying we would have a pages and a component of map, or we should move it all into the pages.
The page would be map, right? Because that's a top level view.
Yeah.
And it might have subcomponents eventually, but for now, the route will point to pages /
So we need to move the code from,
Right.
yeah, there.
So let me just. Thank you guys for doing this with me.
Of course, yeah.
And then, okay, so then we don't actually need it. Well, it can say, do we still want to put like the main and the title?
I don't know that we need that.
Okay,
right?
we can just have the map.
Yeah, we'll make it what they had.
Okay, and then, okay, so now it's there. So should we delete it from components?
Sure.
Okay. And then we go to the app. And so we're deleting it from components, right? Or I don't know. I'm just going to do it manually because there's a lot we have to do here. Sorry, you guys. And then Andrew, you were saying we should move the location and the zoom level to the map page.
Yeah.
Okay, and so then, or is it inside the map? Sorry. Ooh.
No, that would work actually either way.
Okay.
Because we're going to end up making that all kind of dynamic and stuff.
Okay. And so then here, then for the map, then do we do this or do we do that inside the map component? Sorry. Do we use these variables? I'm just saying this and that. Do we use these variables?
Since we're not passing those through from one component to another, I think we can just delete that and just accept the current change, and we don't need to pass them around anymore.
Okay, and
right.
then what about the class name app? Do we need to put that within this?
Was that being used for anything? Or?
The way that
Okay.
Google Map React works, you just have to have like a height and width assigned to whatever is containing that like map component. So like as long as whatever is contained in that has height and width.
Do you think I can just do class name app here, or do I have to surround it with a div? I'm just thinking like.
Right. Yeah.
Did it have to be wrapped, Shane? I thought maybe it had to have a parent component, but I kind of forget.
Yeah, I forget.
Like it did too, but I can't remember.
Can you wrap it from the map page? Can we wrap everything that's in the map page in a div with the
Yeah, I
class
would.
map?
That's probably a little cleaner and more encapsulated to have it live in here and maybe even have its own like map.css or something.
Okay, so just to like wrap this in a div, and then
Or yeah, maybe or
That should work, I think.
and
Yeah.
then we'll move what's in app to the map CSS is what we're saying in app CSS.
Yeah.
Okay, so if, I'm just gonna move it into the pages.
Or do we still need an app CSS though?
the other change, the other PR didn't have, wasn't referencing it, so I think it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't have one because we were just doing it, so we can make it.
I would. Do we want it to be lowercase or do we want it to match the case of the component?
Sure, I have made all our CSS pages lowercase, but it can match the case. I don't think there was any reason why I did that.
What is best practice? I was working on a personal project the other day and wondering if there's a norm.
Well, that's a good question. I mean, it's not exactly PTSD. It's maybe appropriate, but like early in my career, we had a big problem with cases in file names and stuff, and like this really hard to track down bug. And so my bias, my entire career has been everything lowercase all the time. But then React came along, and there was capital letters everywhere, and I was like, really? Are we back to this?
Yeah, the reason that casing is a problem is because on some file systems it actually matters, and on some it doesn't. So if you're on one of the ones where it doesn't, and you don't know that, you could break something on Linux, for instance, where they tend to have systems where it matters.
Yeah, this came up in TCL 19 this week.
Okay.
But the biggest thing that matters is that you're consistent across your internal code base. That's more important than anything else.
Right.
Yep.
I'm just gonna rename these. Hold on. Thanks. All right. You guys are just like watching me stumble with my.
You could also wait until after the merge to do is if this is extra cognitive work, we could make a separate commit for renaming everything.
Oh, okay. I just like my
We
neurosis.
should got it though.
Let you know that.
Yeah, we're pretty close, I think. But yeah,
Okay. So now what do I do?
mob programming for the win.
So now we're in this like, how do I fix, or like what do I do from here?
You might want to run it locally just to make sure that the map.
Yeah, for sure. You're confident you resolved all the conflicts?
Yes.
Okay.
Right here it is locally, but I don't see
There's
the
no nav. Is it?
It might not
thing,
be.
you renamed
the style is going to be
styles.
broken because the casing of the file names.
Okay,
Wow.
sometimes it does that automatically though for me, but hold on. So, I need to like, probably, I have it here, but I probably need to, but yeah, let me double check. Sometimes I think it had something with VS Code where it automatically would do it. Oh, it's not even being imported from app CSS. That's probably why.
You're doing a great job, Rachel.
Oh
I
yeah.
feel very, very nervous. So I'm glad. Thank you guys.
You're doing awesome. Yeah.
I
wonder if we have to set like the Z index.
well, right now it's just, it needs to like, yeah, it's just updating the packages, the Z index.
So it depends. Like if the nav is actually in the HTML after the map, whatever the map thing is, it'll naturally be above, like in front of it.
Okay.
If they're in this, and that's because it's creating a new stacking context. So if they're in the same stacking context and it's wrong, that's where you use the index to sort of pull it forward.
Oh yeah, you were right. All these things. Yes, thank you. I was like, no, it will automatically.
App CSS file and the app.js is still importing it.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that probably doesn't need to pull in any CSS now.
And then wait, it said the nav. It's because I changed all the casing. Yeah. I thought maybe it does it for something else. Why did I think it?
I think it does it if you use certain features of the UI, because then VS Code is able to track that you're trying to rename a file. But if you don't do it a certain way, it doesn't know how to track it. I've
Okay.
experienced that too.
Yeah, yeah. If you're just making a text change, right, it wouldn't
Okay,
Sure,
cool.
follow.
Location is assigned but never used.
compiled with warnings, but no errors. That's good.
Also, Andrew, it is too early to talk about stacking context. That's a nightmare. That's a rabbit hole on its own.
Oh yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not. It's one of those things that's really not obvious.
Right now, the setup as it taking props, maybe you take those props out and it just references those variables directly.
Yeah, that's
Good call.
good. Oh, it compiled successfully. Okay.
Cool.
Let's see what's happening.
Look at that.
There we
Okay.
go.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, the only
Cool.
thing is we can fix this later. I just realized we put padding here, so it's not actually quite center, but yay.
Yeah, and we probably need to move the bottom of the map up to be above the where the nav is, right? But
Okay. We
this is exciting. Like we can do that, I think, in a coming story or
Oh.
something.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm so glad we were able to do that. So then now what do I do to get it? I'm over here. Like
So
so.
let's do git status to make sure that we know what the status of all the files is. It will mark anything that is still both modified. So you'll need to, do you see that separate red section with the two files up top?
Mm-hmm.
You need to add those to mark that they've been resolved.
Like this.
That would work. Yeah.
Yep.
And
And
then
then let's just do status again, just to double check.
Boom.
Nice.
And then yeah.
So now you need to do a merge commit. That's great.
and so then just like resolved merge complex, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I don't know. Whatever. I'm just gonna say that. I never know if I'm writing too much or too little.
I mean, I
To
think
answer
because
that
we
question,
yeah,
it's
go
because we
ahead.
did so much in one commit. But I was gonna say usually this is why I do very, very small commits, very discrete things, because that way you have no question of what to write for the description of the commit.
Right, because I feel like sometimes I end up writing a paragraph and then that feels
Yep.
extra.
I have
So I guess
multiple sticky notes on my computer that say you probably need to commit.
Yes.
At all times.
The
actually,
best advice I ever got was to think of it like you're writing a recipe where you have discrete steps to make a cake, and you want to have each commit be a step toward making the cake, so that you explain to someone who like
I like that.
the dream big goal is to write a commit history that basically could be used to remake the entire app by reading just the commits.
That's cool.
That's amazing.
We can't all live that way. We can try.
Right. Inspirational. I mean.
Some of us aren't very good at following recipes, but so even in this process, you could fix a file, only add that one file, make a commit for what you did, and like you could actually do you probably could have done 6 or 7 commits for this one process.
Okay.
But we're all here watching it, so we all have the full context. So probably not necessary, but yeah,
And
you
then-
don't
We're all
have-
learning.
yeah.
It's totally fine. But small commits will save your life. They've saved mine.
No, that sounds good. So we're still on our branch though. So when I resolve the conflicts, then am I gonna have to merge again?
Yeah, then your PR should be ready to merge through GitHub.
Okay, cool.
Like once you
So-
push this up.
Yeah. And then do you guys do that from the command line, not from the UI?
Oh, I do that. I merge PRs from GitHub.
Okay.
That's a GitHub construct. It's not a Git construct. So
Okay.
and they actually have good tools now.
Now with the GitHub CLI, you can do it.
Yeah.
The whole paradigm is shifting, but I actually really prefer the GitHub GUI for doing all this because you get to see the reviews you've done and all that stuff too. Once you push though, it should be good to merge.
So no, conflicts. Oh, because it has conflicts still.
Did we push?
I think, hold on. Yeah, let me just double check.
Oh, it looks like you committed, but did you actually?
Push,
Oh, you
thank
did.
you.
Yeah.
I
You should
Really?
now. You should be tracking. So you should just be able to do Git push without all the other stuff.
Oh, really? Okay.
Mhm.
Did not know that.
Yeah, if you did flag you, then yes. Oh, there you go. Yeah, cool.
Does anyone else prefer to use VS Code for this stuff, or is it just me that avoids the command line?
I do only when I'm
Yeah, I use VS Code.
Yeah.
when I don't know my own advice and I do a lot of work. I will use VS Code to make it easier to commit single files I've been working on.
Mm-hmm.
But you should do what I say and not what I do, which is to work on files and commit them, and then work on files again. But sometimes you like do a whole feature, then you go find all the individual files and commit them piece by piece.
Yeah.
Should I wait for the checks to complete before I
Yeah. Well, cross our fingers and hope that
Yeah.
everything works. And then actually, once the checks are completed, you can also look at the preview deploy and just make sure it's.
Oh.
Come on, man.
Not
all
even
right,
just
so
one, but all of them. Dang,
yeah, that's weird.
cold.
Maybe if the first one, yeah, right.
Sorry, let me go back. What it was.
So it has checked the logs there. I don't know if you can. That might be Netlify logs. So let me see if I can.
Yeah, I think those are the Netlify logs. Let's see.
I will log into Netlify.
It's getting an error. Cannot find pages CSS in source pages.
Must have been something with these files.
That's in help.js.
Ah. So yeah, maybe just one more file that we need to fix.
That's weird.
Wait,
So you.
what's different?
You
in
have
this?
autosave on, because if you don't, you might have had to like individually save some of those files.
Yeah, no, I did it individually because I think EJ pointed out it has that little circle when it's not saved. And none of them have that, but
That's weird because you've got it there.
I don't know.
All right, I missed. Can we look at help.js? Is that? Do we look at that one?
I mean, it's when we go here. I mean,
No, sorry. I mean in VS Code.
Yeah.
It's .pages.css. Oh, that should be fine.
Yeah, it should be
what that
fine.
error means?
And there's no errors here.
Can we trigger a rebuild? Did it like maybe not get the correct code or do something funky? That's weird.
Possible. Yeah, I can do that.
Not find it in source pages.
Retry, deploy. I'm going to clear cache and deploy site. See if that works.
Yeah, just
Oh, okay. Wait,
try
are
again.
you trying to do it from like your end, you were saying?
Yeah, I'm in Netlify, so I just.
Yeah, this might be a Netlify.
I don't know. It's usually pretty reliable. So, yeah, at some point we will make this available to teams as well, but it's expensive. So.
Now it's actually
Installing
saying that there are
NPM
conflicts. Or
I
oh no,
think
that's wrong.
That was an older
Okay.
one. I'm just saying what it's doing.
It's installing all the modules, so it might take a second.
Hmm.
Okay, stuff's installed.
I guess while we're waiting, hi everyone. I'm EJ. It's nice to meet you.
Hi, Jay.
Hi, EJ.
Hi Andrew. It's been so long.
All right, getting the same error. .source/pages/help.js cannot find file ./pages.css in .source/pages.
Does someone else want to try to maybe like what I'm gonna say, like get on this branch and see, because I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if there's something wrong with my computer. I don't know. That's me being.
The way that's written, Andrew, it makes it sound like the file structure is wrong, but it's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, are we? And we're. Yeah, it does make it sound like
So, and it doesn't matter that I deleted that app CSS. That shouldn't change anything.
No.
Okay. That's the only thing in my head where I'm like, well, that wasn't there before.
Mhm.
Because yeah, I mean, it's also the weird thing is that it's just oh, I just realized that there's a chat.
Thank you for writing that down, Andrew.
Yep.
Also, I feel like VS Code would tell you if you're looking for a file in the wrong route when
Right,
trying to import it.
You know,
What?
oh, you know what though? I didn't. No, I have it running over here. Never mind. Yeah, it's running. That's why I always have two.
Could you do a local npm run build to see if the local build step also
Yeah, that's a
fails?
good call.
That.
Yeah. Because this is almost exactly what Netlify would do. So it would tell us.
Yeah, that's the actual command that Netlify runs.
Oh, okay,
so,
cool. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, we don't have any like environment variables or anything set up. So.
No arcane magic.
Mhm.
I'm like,
Keep it simple. That's what we try to do.
well, I'm glad we're doing this together because it was taking me a moment to think about it. So I feel
Yeah.
valid that it was a
Okay,
little.
so it doesn't
Compiled
have any
successfully.
errors.
Weird.
Netlify is just Angie today.
Yeah, that's weird. It could be a node version thing.
Do we then start putting node version locks into our packages for these?
No, I don't. What node version are you on, Rachel? Do you do node
don't know. This is
dash dash version.
node dash dash version. I think it's pretty new because
That
Yeah.
should be fine.
this is my mom's computer I borrowed, so I just downloaded everything.
Does she
Mom
have
has the
ICS now?
latest node and everything. That's cool.
I'm gonna try. I was gonna say trying to look on my computer, but I don't see what I could see that wouldn't be shown by VS Code in general. If Netlify is acting up.
Is there?
Oh, I was gonna say, can I make one quick suggestion?
Mhm.
I don't understand why this works, but I've had a couple of issues with Netlify before that was solved by putting basically CI equals in front of the build command.
Oh yeah.
I do not know if it will solve this problem.
What does that do? Yeah, we did that in the shopping list. It's in the build commands for the shopping list.
In the shopping list, it was taking error or warnings as errors. It considered any warnings as errors.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's in
that
package
might
JSON.
actually do it.
Wait, is that something that I do or that?
Yeah, you can do it.
So if you want to go to your package.json.
Here, I'll paste what you're aiming for here. So in the scripts section, there's the build command. And see that CI capital C capital I equals space and then the React scripts build.
Yep.
Like
Like
You
that.
can just commit that. Yeah.
And then save that.
I don't know if it'll fix this, but
Right.
Okay.
You can also
Worth a
commit it
try
to
though.
get on
We should have it
Netlify.
anyway.
That
And
should be it.
there's one other thing that we need to do too. I noticed like you go to a different route and then hit refresh and it 404s. So there's a Netlify fix for that as well, where it'll like it knows how to handle that or whatever. But
So I had a Netlify build issue this weekend, but I was working in Gatsby, so I'm not sure if it is possible, but it was another package JSON thing. I was missing like resolutions sharp. I guess sharp didn't update recently and it's like breaking stuff for a bunch of people, but I don't know if that's only a Gatsby thing or could be React too.
all right, interesting. Okay, let's see what happens now. See if we get a good build.
I just refresh.
Yay. It worked, right?
Well, some check.
I think I just refreshed it, but I think it was working before I did it. I was like, I don't know, I'm just refreshing.
I thought of another use case for using the VS Code GUI to do commits. It's easier to do chunks of files rather than entire files if you for some reason want to. Yeah, because when you change something in VS Code, it shows you a diff, like a visual diff on the left side of the change line.
Is that an extension you get?
It's actually already in VS Code. You see the thing looks like a branch, one icon above where you are. Yep, that's the Git UI that comes with VS Code. It's got nothing because you haven't made any changes since your last commit.
Same error is happening. So that wasn't good.
Dang.
Like I don't understand because like what's different than a moment ago in terms of like exactly the file structure.
Yeah, let's go into help.js though. That's what it's complaining about. And import ./pages.css. And we know that that's the correct syntax. Like if we look at another thing that imports,
I think so.
like go to map and see what the format is.
Yeah. That's good.
The only thing I can think of that has happened to me, but I don't know how it could have happened here, is if any of the characters, like the dot or the slash, aren't the standard dot or slash characters.
Yeah, I know, but
that would be so weird.
That would be really unlikely, right?
You know what we could do? We could also just try commenting out that import altogether.
Wait, go back. So look, so slash and then stop. Notice it doesn't have autocomplete for pages.
For the CSS files, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Those are all JS files. Never mind. All right. I thought I was on to something.
I think that's why.
One thing we could try too is to not bother with the import to see if it'll build. We could just have it not have CSS in there.
Yeah, you can just comment out that line and see.
Oh, I mean like just if it's like, yeah.
Well, there's There's no semicolon after that at the end of that, but anyway, it's probably not the problem.
Oh wait, there might. Oh well, yeah, maybe that's part of it. I don't know. All right, well, let's just comment it out, and then.
Because the other thing is, if this, like, if pages sounds to me like it should be imported at a level above this anyway.
Right, you were saying in your, that was something I wanted to discuss too, like how we want to do the CSS, because we were just trying to do as plain for the views, but it, yeah, file structure would make sense. I don't know what message to write.
You could just say comment out pages CSS file.
Thank you. You can tell this is like the bane of my existence, argument messages.
Like I said, this is why I try to keep my commits small, because that way it's easy to look at exactly what I did and try to find a way to explain it to somebody else.
Right. No, I like that idea. Okay. And then I just need to do
another push, and we should be good to create a demo gods.
I just want to make sure
to live in the React world where CSS can break your entire build. It's fine.
Yeah,
I'm not
how the web was supposed to work.
I can't.
Why can't it be fun and cool and hip to teach static site generators? Because that would, those aren't as fragile.
I know, right?
I'm just messing up all my computer. That's fine. I don't.
There's actually no reason why this app couldn't be just a static site.
Except for the few places where it's interactive, you could still keep a state somewhere in the browser for that.
My computer is being very slow right now. Okay, so it's still, I just want to make sure what's happening here.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, wow.
Netlify thing now.
Wait,
because now that one is commented out.
What are
The same thing.
our errors now?
What is it saying? What is it?
Well, I'm not convinced I'm seeing the latest. Oh, there's the detail. Okay.
Well, now we're getting the same error except for settings.js.
Oh, all right. So this is something that's going to affect everything. So everywhere that we're importing that.
Oh, you know why, guys? Is because pages is. Oh wait, no, never mind. Nope, that doesn't make sense. I thought because this was lowercase, but that's not where it's. That.
What would you all think of the CSS that's in pages.css, moving that into app.css and importing it into app.js and just get rid of?
Yeah.
Is that cool with people?
I'm open to whatever right now to get it to work.
Yeah.
So then, and then we'll.
So like yeah, you need to go through and take it out of those other places, and then but add it into app.js.
Yeah, so I put it there, and then should it go down? It should.
Should it go down? I don't know what that means.
I'm sorry. Well, if it's in the app, if it's upper level, do we not need to put in? We don't need to import it in the pages.
It'll be on all pages.
Okay.
As long as it's imported in a file that has a parent relationship to these other things, it'll always render the CSS there. Or better said, as long as that component is on the page, the CSS that's attached to it will render.
Yeah, so in app.js, you need to add the import. I didn't see you do that.
Oh, I see. Yes. I did not do that. So, and then I need to import.
What'll be fascinating is if it complains about this.
All right. I just want to double check that's how it looks, right?
And I think that's the intent. That was the intention of pages.css anyway, was to apply to everything, right? So
yes.
This is why when I build React projects, I simply just have all the styles in one file and index and don't do any of the encapsulation. Because at the scale with which most of my projects work, I don't need to worry about de-rendering things that aren't relevant.
You don't do emotion or anything like that?
I do at Webflow because of the fact that we have to keep our styles encapsulated against the user styles for the output sites. So there is no CSS.
Oh, that makes sense. So it's literally all style attributes.
With the exception of a few really global things, yeah, because we wanted to avoid leaking into the designer when it's being built.
Interesting.
Guys,
that's the whole thing that I could probably entertain you with an hour of discussion about, Andrew.
Yeah, I mean, I've done presentations on the cascade, and that's like a really good use case or example for that.
It's one of the only use cases I see for component level styles, in my opinion, because you actually have an environment that you're trying to protect from the styles.
Yeah.
Otherwise, because I'm a bit old school, I'm sure you understand, I would prefer that we just put CSS where it's supposed to go.
I know, I'm the same way, but
yeah, working on Webflow is one of the only times I've ever been like, okay, this makes sense as to why you'd actually want to style directly on the component, because you actually are trying to do something meaningful with that outcome.
Okay, building. Everybody cross your fingers.
Everyone.
Oh man.
What? How?
What is it?
Well, now it's saying it can't find nav CSS in nav.js. So there's something going on.
With the way we set this up and the way that it works, maybe?
It's not that they're capitalized, right?
Honestly, I run into issues when I change CSS files that have been previously imported. Like if I ever change the name of them, I feel like things don't work for me. So I feel like us going through, I don't know, I can't like explain or give a solution as to like how I've gotten around that, except to like go back in my commit history and undo that. But
I say to answer your question, Caitlin, I don't think it's because of the casing, because the errors are showing it's looking for the correct case of the file name.
Yeah, that's true. Go to nav.js. Like that.
It's almost like it's almost like the CI environment is not bundling all the CSS scripts the way it's supposed to with a Create React app.
So if you go to in GitHub, I'm looking at like the file difference, and nav.css, nav is lowercase.
Oh.
In GitHub.
Okay.
I know what happened. Because macOS is not case sensitive, it didn't recognize the case change.
That's a change.
Yeah, it didn't see the change, so it didn't.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, wow. This is so interesting. So wait.
So we could look at, I think it was TCL 19 and see how they fixed it if you want. I'll dig around for that.
Lowercase.
Can we edit it on the Git? You can. Like I can, hold on, I can.
We can, but I think there's a way that we can force the file system to recognize the change. I just need to look up, because I have had this happen before.
Weird.
Okay. All right. Well,
I can do a bit of Googling. Give me 1 sec.
I didn't think this was, sorry that, I mean, I don't know why I'm apologizing. That this has been taking so long.
Maybe it was.
And I think we all.
There's literally a command you can run to like get it to
get it to realize that.
I think, yeah. Let me see if I can find it.
I've had a similar problem when I was like changing an image in my local files, but I gave the image the same name, even though it was a new image. And like locally, it didn't look like there was a change. And so the new image didn't end up getting pushed up to GitHub. It's a different issue, but.
Yeah, but it's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it is annoying. Just like see that it's different and make the change.
Does this help? I'm sharing a thing in.
That's one way. The other way is to actually use the Git file system to rename the files by case, and that would be fine. We would just need to know exactly which files we've changed, which I think is all the CSS files, right? So you would do, depending on which one we wanted to do, if you wanted to do the solution where we actually rename them, you would do git mv -f.
Wait,
and
sorry.
then a bunch of pairs.
Git mv -f.
Yep.
And then
the order is sort of like old file name to new one, but I think we would need to do the paths for all of them. Yeah.
Do we have to do the paths? Yeah, that's what. Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me just.
The other option though is to do Ali's suggestion and to actually have Git ignore the cases, and that's a team decision we can make.
I'm open to whichever. Again, like I think as Shane pointed out, I think I've encountered some things with this in the past too, but didn't really know why or what.
Mm-hmm.
CSS.
Yeah, I'm up to whatever. This is your project, so you all can do whichever approach you'd like to do.
I don't know if there is like negative, anything negative that can happen from ignoring cases.
I guess the problem could be that if we do a config where we ignore the case, unless we push that config, anyone who tries to work with your project will not be ignoring the case.
Oh,
I don't know how, if it's possible to publicize config choices like that. It'd be fine if this was just your project, just one person's project. But I could see problems happening with, mob stuff, with team stuff.
Okay.
Or like the next time we do the advanced project, they check this out and they try to play with it, and then they have a mysterious bug or something.
Okay, so we renamed a few different things, right? We renamed this. Is it regular path or relative path?
Relative path is fine.
Okay, I always get confused which one it is. Right, that one. And then now so that's the new one, right? So the old one would be.
You want to do old to new. That's the order of input
right,
for that.
Yeah, I just had to like manually change that because it
well, no, I mean the first argument should be the old one. Then the next one is the new one. So if you wanted.
That's what I changed.
That's what I forgot because we changed it in the file system, but it's not showing. That's right. You're right. Let's see what happens if you hit enter. It might make a change. Let's do Git Status real quick to see if it recognizes it. It does.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So so then if I commit this, it's like, I can be like changed.
Yeah.
I'm just doing it bit by bit as opposed to all at once for my own.
This is the kind of change where you could do it all at once because it's the exact same kind of change. I know what I've been saying, but because it's the exact same kind of change.
This is the rule, but not this time.
Yeah. It's
so
whatever feels most comfortable to you is totally fine.
So is that the only one though? Because now we have app back to app and map.
I would do it just to make sure because I've honestly forgotten. Wait, was that the only one? I don't remember.
Because we had pages before, but then we changed it. So part of what we did is we just took it out. The only thing that might be map, but I don't think map existed before. I think I just
we could give it a try just to see if it recognizes any change. If it doesn't, then it's fine, right?
Right. Okay. So git commit. I haven't added it yet. Noah. Sorry. Changes to be committed. Okay. Changed nav CSS.
This is all going to make a really good retro topic next
Yeah.
week. We could even do a little mini retro this week to see if there are any suggestions for, if there's like maybe another level of sort of team-wide collaboration that needs to happen each week or something. But yeah, we'll hit that actually when we're have this all resolved.
I meant to go to the pull request. Okay. Now let's see what it's doing. I feel like when it's yellow, it's not good, but that's my.
No, it's working.
This is why you'll see some people say that Mac developers should set up their file systems to be case sensitive because you have the option to change your file system that way when you are first setting up your computer.
Mm-hmm.
But the Apple default is to not be case sensitive.
Yeah. And again, like I'm using my mom's computer because mine broke. So I tried to do as like little as possible on it.
Oh no, yeah, I never would have changed the case sensitive stuff, but it's just like a thing that you'll see when people like, you shouldn't use a Mac because then you're gonna have this exact thing happen.
Compiled successfully.
Hey.
Nice.
Yeah.
The site is live with a sparkle.
Teamwork.
Okay, and so merge it, right?
Yeah. Good job, and thank you for doing this for us.
No, this is super helpful. All right,
And
I'm gonna stop sharing my
delete the branch, dude, before you move anywhere. Delete the branch. I'm all about keeping those branches tidy and having stale branches sitting around.
Totally. All right,
let's do some topiary. Get the gardening shrubs. Just keep it all tidy.
Oh, it's live at the Netlify, you were saying?
Should be, yeah. Yep.
All right, this thing is just in my way. There we go.
Yeah,
okay.
That's what happens.
What is the
Netlify?
Right. No, that's my Jira.
Can we get these Netlify links added to the GitHub or descriptions of the projects? That way we won't lose them.
They're in the project brief already.
Oh, it is. Okay, let me grab it.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking of how each project can have like a URL up top though, so there's even less digging. Yeah,
I mean, you're all free to add it to the README. Is that what you mean?
No, there's like a place in the GitHub UI where you can put the deploy URL.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. You probably all have the ability to do that. So
I think I can. Yeah, I'm not sure what kind of permission level that takes.
It's
Yeah.
a lot.
Nice.
Whew, all right. So what I'm going to do, let's actually maybe we're still recording. I'm going to do this as a separate recording, like a little mob programming recording. And then we'll do like the rest of the meeting as a separate recording. We're almost at our hour already. Do people have something like, do they have the ability to kind of go for a little bit? Or should we?
I can go a bit longer, but if we can, I would like to schedule office hours first. That way, in case I have to leave.
Yeah, for sure.
Know what that's going to be.
I guess I'm just thinking like, we have a learning module scheduled. We have like, we did talk about kind of the state of things. We do demos, like there's a bunch of stuff that we would normally do now. So how much time do people have to kind of go past?
I don't have a ton today. I have like a couple other projects that I need to get done today, this morning-ish, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of on this. I think after this week, I'd rather not go long now, but I want to learn the the core stuff, but maybe another day. Like, I don't know.
That's the case. Like, just given the nature of what our demos were going to be this week, like we did kind of walk through each other's code just now, and I think like adding that on to whatever we demo next week could be kind of like seamless, honestly.
Okay. Yeah, this week it is fairly simple. It's routes and it's just a default map, right? So the point of the demos for me is really that you all understand what the other team did, right? So if everyone's feeling okay about that, then maybe we can move past demos.
Yeah, I feel like just seeing everything, we all just work together to like merge them. So good.
DeVon, I haven't heard from you on these topics yet.
As far as moving forward, I agree with Shane. Like we kind of demoed up just now.
Yeah, right. We saw it all working. We looked at a bunch of code. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I think it's thankful. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward this week. So,
okay.
Understanding like what we need to do, but I guess, what's the next step? What else are you supposed to do?
Yeah. So, Ali, what would you think about scheduling an hour this coming week to do the cores presentation as opposed to doing it now? Yeah. Okay. So maybe we can find. I mean, that shouldn't be a full hour. That should be. I mean, we could schedule 45 minutes. It'll probably go 30. I mean, it's the learning modules are kind of meant to go about that long.
Okay, learning module.
On cores. So we're using cores. We'll be using cores soon in this project. So that's why we have that learning module in place. But okay, so we can defer that, and Ali, you can put out a doodle or something to get that going. So then I guess the other thing is to look forward to what is next. So I think we have, let's see, maybe I'll share the project board here. And then we'll just do this one. We'll keep it to the one recording. I think that was really worthwhile though. And actually it's kind of fun to do a little mob programming. And that would have been, there were a lot of things that came up. So I think that would have been pretty hard to do like on your own, Rachel, for sure. But even having the team together, it probably would have taken longer. So
no, that was super helpful. Also to like always to hear like more seniors' thought processes, like how y'all go through it is always good for how to like approach problems.
So I'm gonna move this guy into done. So let's see. So we have, so it's 4, 5, and 6. I mean, I think these are in priority order. So creating pins, rendering on the map, populating the table based on the user dragging the map. So this is actually getting into, wait a second, where's my description? What? Am I in the right, maybe I'm not in the right project. Am I in the right project? No, I'm not, sorry. I was like, where's my stuff? Okay, here we go. All right, this is better. So, so we did this. We created the placeholder views.
I think your screen is frozen.
Oh man, this has been happening to me.
At least it is for me.
Yeah, it is on my end.
You know, Zoom, it'd be really cool if you just worked. Like I actually even quit Zoom and then opened it back up when I started this call. All right, so I'm gonna have to Google around for what that problem could be. Could somebody else share their screen and we'll look at the project board together? Maybe Caitlin, you're pretty familiar with Jira.
Yeah, let me make sure I have it pulled up.
I'll shake my fist at Zoom later.
Okay, where am I going?
So if you might need a refresh. I did just drag those two issues into done. Okay, cool. So now, yeah, in the backlog, let's move some stuff into selected for development. So there is that last one, the update app details. So let's drag that up there, and then we can we'll talk about each of these. Once that one's done, then that first epic is done. That put the bones of the app in place, and then maybe we'll put like another 2 issues or so, because I think that update app details thing should be fairly quick. Although there is the issue of like there's a little bit of a stylistic thing choosing an icon. So, but so rendering a table based on the nearby API and rendering pins from nearby API. So I think that tables one to me is probably a full week's work, just because there's not like it's kind of building up that view from scratch. So those two
involves cores.
Yeah, but that stuff's all in place, so it should just work. But these 2 issues are very closely related. So whichever one goes into whichever one's done first is going to be establish the pattern for connecting to the API, and then both of the issues will use that pattern to then render pins into different contexts. Not pins, but render place information into either a table or onto the map. So they both have a lot of the same information in them. It doesn't matter in some ways which one goes first, but whichever one does go first is going to have to kind of figure out how to connect to the API, do something with the information, and that stuff could maybe be encapsulated apart from how the rendering happens, if that makes sense.
I think I would prefer to do the pins first, just looking ahead to next week, so that if this story gets slated next week, we're not working on rendering the pins and allowing to have the pins.
Actually, I think that's a good call, because yeah, that does, it's a block, it blocks that other issue. It blocks 21. Yeah. So let's definitely move render pins into selected. And then it could be that by the time one team updates the app details, the other team. So what I would actually suggest too here is that whoever it works on rendering the nearby API stuff, that you do 2 commits for this issue. One where you just access the data and pull it in, put it in state or whatever the thing is. And that way, if somebody else wants to pick up the table issue, that sort of plumbing is in place. And then you move on to a second PR, which actually kind of begs the question. This is like kind of a story splitting question, where that you could argue that these should be 2 stories. One, which is, as an app, I want access to this information. And the second one is I want to render this stuff. So probably something I should do in the future is like separate those two concerns out. But let's also put the table one into selected, and that's probably plenty of work for this week, I would say. I would guess. All right, so now if we go back to the board, we'll talk about each of the issues. So I don't know, did we talk about this app details one last week?
I don't remember talking about it.
Okay. So basically the idea is that we want our app to be a well-behaved PWA on a phone and stuff. So you can actually, you can already install it as an app. That kind of comes by default, but it has, all the default, has like a default React icon and the default name for the app and stuff. So this task is really about making this setting the branding a little bit for the issue, for the app. So we need an app name, we need an icon, and we need to update like a theme color and some of these kinds of things. And then we need to set those in these two spots. So in index.html and manifest.json. So that's one issue, and we can figure out who's going to take that one in a second. So now you're saying the other pins. And on the board, Caitlin, could you actually drag the pins one above the table one, just so it's clear what the priority order is? Okay. Cool. All right. So this one we are using. Can you go back up to the top? So as a user, I want to see Wikipedia entries on a map. And so Wikipedia has an API, but we have to use a proxy endpoint, which is already built and everything. So you don't have to build that, it's in place. But we do that to get around CORS restrictions. So you can actually, why don't you open in a new tab, open the code for the proxy, second bullet. That's the actual endpoint. So this is the data you get back. So as an example, so you'll see there's a lat long in the URL. And both of those parameters can take just a whole number like that 45, or they can take a negative float number. So negative 123.456 happens to be not far from me, and Caitlin. So
Earth.
Yeah, there's a bunch of data in here that you won't actually use, but if you were to copy and paste that into VS Code and prettyify it or whatever it's called, you can see the structure and how to get to the different kind of data points. So if you go back to the issue, you can open up the code for the proxy in the next, that second bullet under what are the assumptions. So yeah, so this is all CORS-y kind of stuff, but there are headers that get set, and what this basically does is on the server, it makes a curl request to the API. So there are no CORS issues, no cross-browser issues because it's not a browser. And then this script takes care of setting the correct headers and everything so that you can use this API in our app. So it restricts. If you go up, it'll say there's like sort of origins. So there's localhost, so it should work on port 3000. If you're using a different port, you might have to tell it to use port 3000. I think that's the default for React apps, right? Mm-hmm. There's the What's Near Me app, which is the one that I built originally. I could actually take out that third one because this partial origins now covers sort of all the other cases, like deploy preview URLs and your actual app. So those are all the origins that are allowed. Any other origin that tried to access this API would get an error. So anyway, this proxy script it's not super complicated, but it's sort of necessary for getting around. Like you can't access the Wikipedia API directly. All right, so anyway, just so you've seen that at least. And if you get that 403 back, then I probably need to edit this script to allow another origin, another host name to be able to access the API. But it basically is like, if you go down a little bit, so are lat and long set? And if they are they numeric? Are they within a reasonable range for those numbers? Like those numbers need to be greater than or equal to 90 or less than or equal to negative 90 or whatever, other way around, sorry. And then between 180 and negative 180. So those are, that's the globe, basically, any number within the actual globe. And then you see the URL for the Wikipedia API. It does a curl request, sets it to JSON and returns it. So yeah, so that's that. So if we go back to the issue. So there's the accessing of that stuff, and we'll basically just use the lat long that we have hard coded into the map for now. And you'll make a request to the API and come back and just basically put that, make that data available to the app. So now that we're going to be rendering it in both a map and in a table, so that implies we probably need that to be hoisted up to a level where both of those components can access it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that state needs to be kept maybe at the app level, or maybe a provider. Or, I mean, there's different ways you could solve that problem. And then, so I would suggest that being one PR, and we get that integrated, and then it unblocks the two rendering PR, the two rendering issues, pins and table. So I guess we can scroll down a little bit to the acceptance criteria. So this goes into starting to describe a little bit more about the pins and stuff. So 24 by 24 pixels is a reasonable hit area on a mobile device. If you go to what's-near.me, you can see sort of how, like what I'm talking about in terms of like little down caret on the pins and stuff, just to sort of point at the, I guess I didn't actually have that in mind, did I? I think I just plopped it right on top of the location.
But yeah,
So,
I know, like, with normal maps, there's that pin.
Mm-hmm. Go to a normal map.
This little down.
Yeah, something like that. So maybe that's another sort of design decision that you need to make as a team, about how you want those pins to look, or you could just say like whatever the other team does, the other pair does is fine. But the idea, like in my app, is that you have like you'll get a thumbnail back for probably about half of the locations, some kind of image. So if you kind of show whatever you can of that, kind of shrunk down, but like whatever you can of that image in the pin, and then for ones that don't have a thumbnail, have some sort of default pin that you show. And then the other sort of acceptance criteria is just, the user could very well drag the map into the middle of the ocean or something where there are no pins, right? So you just need to handle that. That's sort of like an edge case or an error case that you would need to make sure the app doesn't crash. Like when I built this originally, I didn't handle that at first. This is why this AC is in here, and people were like, the app's crashing. It's not working. It's frozen and all this stuff. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't handle that edge case. So we're not using the user's device location yet. We're just using that hard-coded location. We're not adding the ability to tap on a pin or anything like that. It was strictly just getting pins rendering at all. So that's what this story is about. So it's possible that y'all will get to, I know we're 10 minutes over, but that we'll also get to the tables one. So let's maybe talk about that a little bit. So again, a lot of this stuff is the same as the other one. Like you're relying on having that API functionality already in place. So we can scroll down to acceptance criteria, I think. So so at our /list route, and I think I might have included an image of sort of what a table might. I mean, it's not really what. If you scroll down more, I think there might be an attachment here. Okay, so that's not how it should necessarily. That's a thumbnail image, but this table is what I was kind of thinking as a layout for that. But you could feel free to sort of own that too if you think it could be done in a different way. Like one option might be that you just link up the name of the place. There's not always a description, so you shouldn't link the description because it's not always there. But you could link the name of the place and save a column as an example. But this something like this where you have the distance, you show the thumbnail, the name of the place, the description if it's there, in a table format. And the idea here, this was a great suggestion by EJ too. This makes the app a lot more accessible because maps by default are not super accessible. In fact, probably not accessible at all on a screen reader. So this makes it so the user could actually kind of have the, get to the same information. Any questions about that?
Looks good.
All right. So the things that we're going to take on first are updating the app information. So making it a well-behaved PWA. So, and then we'll do the pins one. So who wants to take the update app details story?
What are the pairs?
Oh, the pairings? I don't know. Let's see.
I forget. I have no idea.
Well, I have the pairings up somewhere.
Oh,
Oh, you do?
I did. Through Rachel and Caitlin and Shane and DeVon.
All right. Who wants to take the update app details story?
Sure.
All right.
I don't know, Rachel, if you have a strong opinion.
No, not really.
But yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Do the other one. We'll take that one.
That makes sense. That's the that. So that's going to be getting the pattern established for for accessing the API, and then rendering pins, and then by the time you have the API stuff working, maybe Caitlin and Rachel, if you haven't already spent your 5 hours for the week, you could pick up the table rendering as sort of the next thing that you work on.
Cool. Sounds good.
And before we, I guess, adjourn, I wanted to, I guess, I don't know if we have to do a actual video chat meetup, maybe in just I'll create a thread. So like, I think maybe just kind of a high level, like, I guess, team kind of discussion, just so that we understand like what each other are doing, or if any other, if there's some nomenclature guidelines, anything, so we can kind of improve upon this week. And yeah, just to kind of communicate so we understand what's going on. Maybe not, just not so much a demo, but just be like, hey, does everybody know? Okay, break, team. So, yeah.
We also want to schedule office hours still?
Yes, that's true. Yep, EJ.
Okay.
And Allie, you'll do a doodle out of band, I guess, for.
I already threw it up in Slack.
Oh, snap.
We can use it to schedule office hours too. If you want
Well, that's true. I guess if there are just make sure you hit multiple times, and then you could use that information for both topics if you want.
That's fine. We can put them together.
Mm-hmm. I guess if the doodle has times that work for you, EJ, for your office hours.
Let me double check. And if it does, then we can keep it the way it already is.
All right. But I like that suggestion, DeVon, and something too, maybe something that might have helped this week is, if we had all of our reviews done and stuff, maybe like yesterday, and the team got together to do the merge. Like, I feel like both projects, like that first merge is always the one that like has the most conflicts and stuff. So that might have been something I could have suggested last week, I guess. But
these times are all fine. So any of the times that work for the group for doing the next presentation, I can also kind of work around to do office hours.
Cool, great. So we'll use that doodle for both purposes. And yeah, is there anything else? I'll spin up threads in the channel for these two issues. And then I guess that's probably it, right? Cool. All right. Nice work, everybody. It was fun to mob program with y'all. Let us know. Yeah, you did a great job, by the way. It's a lot of pressure to be like, it's like, trying to write it on a
and I will have to say
whiteboard.
I feel like last cohort gave us some practice because we would do that in office hours a lot. So
yeah, good.
Yeah, that was
a lot.
Cool, good stuff. All right, let us know if anything comes up this week. Like accessing that API, there are a lot of ways you can solve that. So, if you want to know kind of like what are some good patterns for that, probably talk to EJ. Like, I'm maybe not the best person. I mean, I would have ideas of how to do it, but EJ probably has more real world experience with that. So
He's saying I'm bitter and broken down. Yes, I am jaded. It was nice to meet everyone, finally. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will talk to y'all soon at the next meeting.
Cool. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
See you later.